Good afternoon, gentlemen. We're back out here on the farm this afternoon, and I'm shooting another video documentary. And after doing the filter for the video for the Bounty filter, where I showed y'all the other day using Bounty paper towels and colanders, it reminded me of my first tabletop Buchner funnel that I made. And yes, I made one. Back when I first started, I couldn't afford a lot of this equipment that I afford now. I had to improvise things. I mean, it was a hobby. I mean, I was trying to spend as little money as possible, so I would improvise every chance that I get. Well, I went to trying to dig out a tabletop Buchner that I'd made a few years back that I used here around the shop. And it occurred to me that I sold the last one. I only made 3 of these things. The first one was a dummy mock-up of an idea I had for a tabletop Buchner. And the second one I made had too large of a surface area on the bed, and my vacuum source wasn't strong enough, so I scaled it back down. And that was the third model. The third model I had made, I had cut out of 1/2-inch acrylic glass. There's a fellow on eBay that'll laser cut that stuff for you, and he'll cut it pretty much to any size or dimensions that you want. So when I finally perfected my design, I had, after the mock-up, I built the first one that was a failure. I went to the second generation, and there I had some success. I wound up spending about $50 on the final one, and I had it for a few years that I used it, and since I don't use it anymore, I wound up selling it to a fella that begged me for it about a year ago. And but I was out digging in the shed the other day, and I found the original mock-up model, and I thought, well, I guess I could make a video off of that one since I don't have, the last one that I designed. And this was out of sheer necessities, all it was. So I'm going to run you through the principles and the first generation tabletop Buchner that I built here. And this will work for larger particulates, like foils from fingers, or foils from goldfield, or crystalline silver. Now remember, we discussed before, a filter medium is nothing but classifies something by particle size. Anything can be a filter. Then the second thing you got to worry about is what is the filter material, and will it stand up to the application that you're wanting to use it for. So you could just about make a damn filter out of just about anything you want to. Here in my case, I found the cheapness of paper towels, and I ran with it, and it worked fairly well in my processing. Now what I have in front of me is what I'm going to use to demonstrate this little system that I've got going here. On this side over here, we have about a 3.5-4 gallon stainless steel pot that is got some silver in it that I have washed around. I drawed off the original solution, washed it with water once, and now I'm going to run it through my tabletop Buchner funnel, which is this apparatus right here. And if you'll look on top, you'll notice 4 sideboards that form the filter bed, or the sides of the filter. And what that is just painted 1x4s. When I first made this, I wanted to know nothing but the principle, that the cheapest way I could figure out, if it worked, hey, I'd go on and spend the money, to have it made out of acrylic. But at first, I wasn't for sure it was going to work, because I changed some things around from the original design of the Buchner funnel, and I thought it may or may not work, so I was looking for the cheapest alternative. And below that is a HDPE kitchen chopping block is what it is. And the sideboards are attached on top there with screws running from the bottom. And then I've just got 2 wood sideboards there that hold the whole platform up off of everything. And in the very bottom, that is ice maker tubing that you see hanging down that's white right there. And I don't know if it's Teflon or PTFE, but go to Lowe's and it's ice maker supply line is what it is, and it's chemical resistant. Now the other thing you see running right there is a suction hose. It's just shoved up on there, makes a tight fit, quick connect. I got a suction hose that runs off and runs down and comes back up over here. And this is a 5-gallon glass carboy. You've probably seen it in my other videos from time to time. And on top of that, we have a rubber stopper that I've drilled out, and I've inserted a glass tube right there. And the one that you're looking at there is coming from the Buchner funnel and running up into the carboy. And on the one that's free there, that's just another piece of ice maker supply line. The other hose you see hanging over right here connects into that, creates a vacuum in the bottle, and then the solution is drawn from the Buchner funnel over into the glass carboy. Now, let me get up here and get a little closer so we can explain the rest, gentlemen. Now, over here is my stainless steel pot with my silver precipitate in the bottom of it. And as you can see, there's a little color to the solution. I boiled this silver powder in water to remove as much as I could. And now we're going to put it over into our Buchner. In the back there, we just have a glass measuring cup. I like to use glass, not plastic. Here, we have a roll of paper towels, and I have 2 that I've tore off that's laying on the top. And we have our trusty spray bottle there. And this is fiberglass window screen is what that is. You can buy that at any Lowe's as a replacement screen. You can get a big old piece for about $5 from Lowe's. And over here is my circle that I use for my other Buchner funnel a lot, and it's cut round. And I don't have, because I pulled this out of storage, I don't have the 2 pieces that was part of the original experiment. All I had was the platform here, so I wanted to show you that. And right in the middle, we have a hole drilled with that piece of PTFE tubing stuck up through it, and I just super glued that in place. But it is flush with the top of the platform here. And if you'll look, like I said, that's just painted pieces of 1x4 wood. And then I took some blue silicone gasket maker to seal it, because all I wanted to do was see if the principle held true. If the principle held true, I could move on to step 2 in design phase. Now, these paper towels right here are 6 by 11. And if you'll notice, I made the filter bed the perfect size for this. There is almost 0 gap along these edges right here. These are tight tolerances. I don't want it to ride up the edge. I want it to lay right on the edge. Now, let me see here, and another 6 by 11, and you're going to use 2 of these, and this is just a roll here that I have. I think these are $1 a roll or something other like that, but we're going to use these paper towels as our filter medium, because this is a silver powder is a pretty coarse granular precipitate, so it's not going to pass through these paper towels very well. Matter of fact, I have 0 loss just about it using these paper towels. Now, the way we're going to set this up is we're going to take our round filter. Well, let me explain this. This piece is cut leaving about a 1/2 inch around the whole walls, and there's a reason for that. what it is I don't want this to run all the way to the edge. I want my filter paper to lay over this edge and create a seal right here. And if you look at a Buchner funnel, you'll notice the holes aren't all over the place. There's a lip along the outside where there's no holes where the filter paper seats at. And this is the same principle right here. Now, on my second and third generation, I had 2 screens. The next screen is cut about an inch shorter than this one all the way around, and it goes on the bottom first. Well, I couldn't find those original pieces, so what I'm going to use is my round piece from my Buchner funnel, and I'm going to center that up, and let's pretend that that's square right here. And then we're going to lay our other one right on top of it and make sure that we leave our 1/2 inch or inch gap around this edge right here. Then we're going to take both of our paper towels, and one at a time we're just going to gently lay them in there, and they'll fall into place. Put the second one in, and they just float right down on the filter bed right there. Now what you're going to want to do is take your spray bottle, and we're just going to get it on the fan pattern first, and we're just going to lightly mist these towels right here. We just want them to lay down there on a filter bed is all. And you can fill it up with water if you want to. The water will give it a tight fit. It'll suck it all down here in just a minute. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to move over here and apply some vacuum to this. And you'll hear it start to suck. If I can keep my vacuum on here. It's hard doing this one-handed, guys. Alright, we got us some vacuum going now. We just want to kind of sink that filter paper down there. There we go. And a lot of times I'll take me a gallon jug and I'll pour a little bit in there in the beginning. And if you'll look over here, you can see that it's draining through into our receptacle here. And you can hear the suction again. And it'll start to pull that filter paper down and dry it out. There we go. Give us a nice, good, solid seat down there. Alrighty. Now, the second thing I want to do is I want to reach over here and I'm just going to dip me up some silver out of here. And I'm going to give it just a second to drain a little bit so I don't have any drips as I transfer it over to here. Now when you transfer it over, you just don't want to pile this along the edges. You want to pour it dead center. And just pour it in there. Reach over, get you another dip. And pour it over in there. And just keep piling it in there. It'll take a minute to start pulling this down good. Pour some more in there. And get some more. And dump it in there. And I could usually get a good probably 2.5, 3 gallons through here. Easy. I could fill it up on the sides, 4-inch sides. And once this draws down, this thing will come out like a solid block of silver, like just a big old square chunk. And out here at the farm, I have a gas stove that I have set up. I don't have electricity way out there. So I just bought me a gas stove and I hook it up to a propane bottle. And I'll take these big old blocks here when I was doing it, and I would dump them on a stainless steel pan and chop them apart, and I put whole trays, like cookie trays, in the oven to dry this out. But this helps out a lot whenever you're trying to filter large solutions and get them rinsed real good. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cut away for a minute, because I'm going to have to pick this stainless pot up with 2 hands and manipulate this, and I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of this dumped on off in here. And if you'll see, it's starting to suck it down pretty dry now. So I don't want that to suck down completely. You don't ever want to dry. Here's a vacuum on that bottle over there. That's how much vacuum was built up in that bottle that was pulling through this filter bed. But you don't ever want to let this dry out and pull hard while you're trying to wash it, because soon as it pulls hard, when you pour water in it, it tends to block them channels where it's going to wash at. Even though you would think it should clean it, it doesn't. It's harder to clean it once it clumps up. So you always want to leave it in a semi-state to where it's liquid. Alrighty, gentlemen, we're back. It's been about 15 minutes, I guess, and our tabletop Buchner here has just about finished draining all the solution out. And if you'll look over here in our catch bottle, you'll see that the solution is pretty clear. There might be just a little cloudiness to it, some residual chlorides that come out when they're diluted that fine. But there's not enough there that I'm really going to worry about that. I'll catch it in some of my downstream processes. But back over here, you can see that our filter and our silver has finished drying. And if you'll look, it looks like a big square block. You can see right here around the edges where it has dried and pulled away from there. So whenever I get ready to flip that out of there, it ought to flip out of there pretty easy. And there's a little bit of copper scum or copper oxides that you can see left on top right there. But all in all, it probably didn't take me about 15 or 20 minutes to wash a few pounds of silver powder versus doing it other ways with a small Buchner funnel or something else. But for 30-40 bucks, there's you a design for a Buchner funnel system that you can make at home fairly cheaply. You can modify it. You may come up with some other design things. You may want to try some things, but I've given you the basic principles and the concept behind why this type of filter system here will work, and work a lot more efficiently and a lot more cheaper for you. Well, alrighty, gentlemen, that's the end of my video, and until I see y'all the next time, happy gold trails.